Every human being will know very well, all too well for some of us, the experience of feeling hurt. Hurt, of course, spans a continuum of emotions from sadness to anger to the driver of fear to shame to guilt, remorse. Emotions that we would usually somehow label as negative, difficult, unyielding. And the momentary experience of the rising of hurt, regardless of the trigger, brings about a collapse of the sense of safety in the personality, in the direct experience of the moment one inhabits, as that stands in relation to the objects of present experiences. So those will be seen and setting, the environment that we're in at the time, any characters that are present, or simply the presence of the thought stream as we sit and we muse or reflect out of these objects, people, places, things, thoughts. Complex emotions arise, and there we are, confronted with a feeling of hurt. This hurt may appear as the collapsing of, the folding into a sensation where a previous understanding of a relationship or a situation comes to an end. So we are thrust in a more subtle way into a movement of the grief process, whichever model we apply to that. Certainly the thought life, the mental narrative, realizes as a recognition of the current or previous or momentary idea of how things are supposed to look or how a certain situation is supposed to look. And so we sort of collapse into or fold into this feeling of pain. Of course, our entire world culture would rather avoid hurt, pain, suffering, and would rather bring about happiness, peace, comfort, contentment, and a left field bedfellow we might call, certainly in the modern context, success. Whether that's the success of the configuring of the moment on how it should be. So there's some shame in the shoulding, and there's some conditioning available in that shoulding and that how things are supposed to look. We may have all encountered, I've certainly encountered many people that have ideas on how, not only how life is supposed to look for them, but on how other people are supposed to look to them, for them, in that life, in order that they, or we, as that person, experience a sense of satisfaction because others are moving along life's lines in the way that we find acceptable, and in so doing, avoid activities and behaviours and ways of being of others which we find objectionable. So, all of this verbal dancing somewhat points to why it is that we have such a complex relationship with the feeling of being hurt. We have ideas of how things are supposed to be, or we have an idea of who we are in the idea of how things are supposed to be. So there's a personality, an identity, bound by conditioning, bound by our current experience of life. Really, we're living spontaneously. Life is constantly, spontaneously flourishing, fresh experience in the undivided field of experiences. So experiences of different objects, feelings, places, things and people are moving around the field of experience itself. And we have ideas and conditioned notions of how that framework, how that experientially and existentially is supposed to operate. So we move from this through this continuum of happiness to hurt, or happiness to sadness, or comfort to discomfort, modulating and reconfiguring as we go to avoid such hurt, such suffering, and to bring about happiness and peace and acceptance. And this can happen in the subtle, in the minutiae of the moment. Am I comfortable? Am I experiencing a sense of ease and comfort in this moment? And then again, am I now experiencing this moment a sense of ease and comfort? Is there a thread of ease and comfort? Of course, the overlay into that is the mental processing, the thought stream, the thought life, that is used to assess the experiential evaluation of that. So here we are, and we're feeling secure and safe and warm and free of harm, and our needs appear to be met. And the mental narrative that we use to process, experientially process how that feels, the feeling of being a human. Have we done enough in this day to sit at home on this same evening and feel a sense of safety, security and comfort, these instinctual needs that we carry with us, and all of the conditioning that reinforces those, of course. So there's a movement throughout all of this, a movement of energy, in fact, throughout all of this, the energy of being, the luminosity of the experience of being a person, the energetic felt sense that girds our sense of awareness or consciousness. So there's the light of the illuminated being that we are prior to all thought. That is the known experience of simply being a person, the common experience for all of us, of course. It's how it feels to be a person, irrespective of personality, for one person is the same as it is for another person. Of course, the life tapes, the life scripts, the clamours for meaning, the clamours for purpose, the story of the me that is governed by the very thought stream that seeks to avoid pain and hurt and to bring about happiness, of course, as different for each of us as there is an apparent each of us. We all have different experiences of things, of objects, of feelings, of families, of people, places and things. And the nature of experience itself and the knowing of the moment, the knowing experience moment, energetic sense of being a person is a common experience to all of us.